hear ye, Islander 4 is upon us, if that's how messages are supposed to be delivered. We have Islander issue 4, ladies and gentlemen. I have actually, this time as well, started to be able to read through the essays myself, and I can assure you that they are just as high a quality as those in the previous issues. Some terrific essays in there by Carl, Morgoth, Rory. I've written a Lord of the Rings one, and I will continue to remind you all of the fact because I'm very, very happy with it. And so, yeah, for $14.99, you can get it from our website along with all of the merch that comes with it, and I really hope that you enjoy the magazine.
And you even got Ed Dutton in there.
Dutton.
The miscreant.
Yes.
Right, so ex-Doge staffer nicknamed Big Balls left bloodied after savage DC carjacking attempt by 10 juveniles. So I'm going to tell you, roughly speaking, what happened. Last Sunday at around 3 a.m., there was a carjacking attempt by a juvenile of around 10, 12 teenagers, basically thugs. And they tried to steal a car. A woman was in it, and luckily for her, Edward Corristein was there, also known as Big Balls, and he took his girlfriend out of harm's way, and he literally saved also the girl. He was beaten very much by them. He has a broken nose and a concussion. I wish him a speedy recovery. Luckily, police officers were there, and they helped him. And they arrested 2 people, and you see here. No, we're not going to show some pictures of him. They're all over the internet, but we're not going to show them. But he saved them. He saved the girl, and that's very admirable.
It is.
It's nominative determinism in action. Big balls, and he actually did have them.
Exactly. And you know that in marketing, they say that one of the worst things is over-promising, under-delivering.
Right.
So in a sense, you could say this is over-promising, but it's not under-delivering.
Yeah, and over-delivery. Yeah.
Right.
Very brave, especially after the Daniel Penny thing, and you can get in so much trouble now for doing the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So let us see here the Wikipedia article about him, just very briefly. He is 19 years old, and he is an American college student and programmer formerly appointed to the Doge, and he was made a permanent federal employee with the title Senior Advisor at the highest pay grade, GS-15, in the General Services Administration at the end of May 2025. Corristein resigned weeks later in June before taking a job at the Social Security Administration. So he is very young, and he has taken some already. It seems like this is a good start for your career.
Remarkably well driven, clearly.
Yeah. And character-wise, it seems like he totally deserves it. And also, if we judge according to outcome, because you know, I don't think Elon would just give him a job like that if it wasn't worth it.
Oh no, I don't think so either.
I wonder if Elon saw a bit of himself in him, because there's a clip maybe later where he talks about risk and having a high risk tolerance, Big Balls, and so does Elon Musk. If you read his biography, his friends even said he might be addicted to risk. Musk's like, oh, I'm going to learn to fly a plane now. You know what I mean? He loves risk. So I feel like maybe Big Balls is the new Musk in some ways.
Could be. So Elon says, a few days ago, a gang of about a dozen young men tried to assault a woman in her car at night in DC. Elon does the same thing with other outlets. He talks about men like that. A Doge team member saw what was happening, ran to defend her, and was severely beaten to the point of concussion, but he saved her. And he says it's time to federalize DC. And here is also Trump, who is saying crime in DC is totally out of control. Local youths and gang members, some only 14, 15, and 16 years old, are randomly attacking, mugging, maiming, and shooting innocent citizens, at the same time knowing that they will almost be immediately released. And he's talking about how the city needs to be federalized. And there's another clip of him. The machine, this isn't working, where he says here basically that they need to straighten their act out, and unless they do in DC, he is going to federalize Washington, D.C. Right. So there's a lot of questioning with respect to what does federalization mean. And from what I saw, Washington, D.C. is not a state. It's a city. And it's not governed as a state. And in the drafting of the Constitution in 1789, it was considered that there should be a federal district that didn't belong to a state, and that was Washington, D.C. And what happens, generally speaking, is that cities are parts of counties, counties are parts of states. So when cities can't, let's say, function in some respects, they get help from the states they are a part of.
Yes.
Right now, because they don't have a state, they're not a state. Question is, who are they going to ask for help? And as we're going to say, they have a long tradition of leftist infiltration in their institutions. Their mayors for many decades are leftists, and they don't want to be helped. But it seems like they're very happy with chaos. So someone like Trump and someone who would be more of a Republican persuasion would say something needs to be done about it, would say most probably that this is a problem that needs to be solved. That's why Trump says that unless they straighten their act out, the DC should be federalized. And he says personally here that Big Balls is a hero and he is planning on calling him.
Yeah, I noticed he avoided saying his name, but he says, we're going to call the person, and I was thinking, is Trump going to say Big Ball? They call him Big Balls, folks, but he didn't go there.
Yeah. Right, and we have here a really funny post by this parody account saying, when I federalize Washington, D.C., the executive order shall be called the Big Balls Act. It's a fun one. So what I wanted to show you here is that in the D.C. there is at least half a century of Democratic mayors. So you see here from 1975 to present, we have 7 mayors, Democratic, 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 Democratic. You also see here Marion Barry, who was mayor 4 times. And I've been told by Neon Realist that he was, there's a very classic clip of him. He was smoking crack with a prostitute, and he got caught doing so.
So he's very much just setting the trend for Washington going forward.
And he started accusing her all the time.
Oh, right.
Only she set him up. He had no responsibility for what he did.
He had no choice.
He had no choice. He was just a victim of structures. She had all the agency.
I love that. You just see him there with the crack back. How dare you? And he just like points at her. And it's like David Brent. You made me do it. You remember when he's putting that stuff in my mind?
Well, you address the structures that made me do this.
Yeah.
Isn't that what critical theory is supposed to be about? Understanding the structures that create problems for the left's allies.
Yeah.
Because they're never responsible for wrongdoing.
No.
They're always responsible for doing something well.
Society made them do it.
Yeah, but everyone else who isn't an ally of the left is very much responsible for wrongdoing.
Right, right. And even anyone like Trump says something and other people riot, he's responsible for that. You're even responsible for other people's actions.
Yeah.
But on the left, you're not responsible for your own actions.
It's like for the left, everyone, unless you're a leftist, you need to atone yourself for original sin. That's how it goes. You're constantly responsible for wrongdoing unless you're a leftist. If you're a leftist, you can't engage in wrongdoing. You're a poor victim of structures. And this is a kind of mentality that all these mayors have, because all the leftists have, especially with a new left from the 60s onwards. This is how they infiltrated institutions, and this is how they govern and how they adjudicate. And we have here Justice Janine Piro, U.S. Attorney in D.C. She's affiliated to Trump, and she became a U.S. Attorney now, and she says essentially that youth violence is on the rise across the country, and they have to stop coddling leftists. Says the age of responsibility needs to lower to 14. Now, what I want to say about this is that it's not just, that's just a start, lowering the age of responsibility, because what she says is that there are lots of criminals who are who are adults who take young children and young teenagers and essentially make them do it. So this is one thing, but also you need to have people within the system, because if you lower the age of responsibility to 14 and you bring this case into a court and the court adjudicates according to woke principles, even if you drop it to 10, the result's going to be the same. They're going to be let out. And so let us listen to what she says here to Laura Ingraham.
Tell us what we can expect from your time as U.S. Attorney.
First of all, there was another homicide, so we're now at 99 homicides so far this year. There's no question that Washington, D.C. has an incredible number of homicides. You know, and you can say that violence and crime is down, but the truth is violence is more lethal than it's ever been. And when we say it's down from what?
Right, real high.
Okay, we've got carjackings that are up 111%. The problem in D.C., and President Trump, in his effort to make D.C. safe and beautiful, said to me, I want you to enforce the law to make sure that there's accountability. And I spoke to the president yesterday at length about what was going on here. I said, if you're 14, 15, 16, or 17 years old, you get coddled, as you do in most American Democrat cities. So I can't charge these people. This young kid who worked at the White House was beaten to a pulp. He's got a broken nose. He's got a severe concussion. He's battered all over his head, by a gang of punks. 10 of them, I believe. 2 have been arrested, 2 15-year-olds. None of them come to my office, Laura, because they're not considered criminals. They go to family court where the effort is rehabilitation. The D.C. Council, and the president is right, they've got to stop their coddling. Number one, we've got to lower the age of responsibility to 14. I'm tired of having these kids commit crimes in their crews, not gangs in D.C. We've got an intern, you said it in your open. He's an intern from college. He gets shot going out for McDonald's at 10:30 at night. This kid is trying to help his girlfriend or his friend to a car. He gets assaulted, and but for a cop going by, they would have, had they gotten him on the ground, they would have stopped him and finished him. He was.
So she's talking about another incident that was very tragic, and it happened about a month ago. Congressional intern killed in Washington, D.C. shooting. Eric Terpinian Joachim was an intern for Kansas Republican Ron Estes, and it says here a 21-year-old congressional intern was shot Monday night after getting caught in targeted gunfire in northwest Washington, D.C., police said. Police and congressional officials identified the victim as Eric Terpinian Joachim of Granby, Massachusetts, who died Tuesday after being shot near the intersection of 7th and M Street. Investigators have recovered the suspect vehicle and stated that while the shooting was targeted, Terpinian Joachim was not among the intended victims. So the way it sounds, DC doesn't sound like a very safe place.
No, well, I'm gathering that. I mean, it's all cities. It's good to know it's not just us, it's America as well. It's like all Democrat-run cities, particularly, right? Like San Francisco and all these places, just absolute
Portland and
bleep holes. Yeah.
No, absolutely terrible.
Yes, and I think that it's particularly bad when we have this coddling mentality that has been communicated by the left, because essentially they're saying our protected people are not essentially never liable for wrongdoing. And I think that people need to wake up to this and understand that the left is basically brainwashing generations of young people into thinking that so long as they do something in the name of social justice, they can do no wrong.
Yeah, it's almost beyond coddling, isn't it? Into the victim is the criminal is the victim of society, as you sort of said before. But the leftists think of society itself as the oppressor, in these kind of Rousseauian terms. Yeah. Whereas stopping the people just doing what they would do, they're held down by some force. So the criminal is the victim, and yeah.
Well, and also just, from a cultural perspective, just the glamorization of crime as well itself. And obviously the lack of a deterrent. If they know that, well, they're not going to blame me personally for what I do, they're going to blame the structures, they're going to give me a little slap on the wrist and away I'll be.
Exactly.
Then,
and this is what the left is all about. Remember the defund the police call for the BLM, and just look at how AOC and Zoran Mamdani are talking. It's as if all crime is to be blamed to the presence of the police. As if you defund the police, all crime is going to go away.
The only thing that sometimes stops it is when one of these mayors gets attacked themselves. Remember that woman in Seattle being attacked? Can't remember what role she was, but she was someone who'd said defund the police. I think it was Seattle, could have been somewhere else. A woman said defund the police, and then she got attacked. She was a Democrat. And she went, "Hang on, we need more police."
Yeah. Let's fund it again.
Yeah.
Not be hasty here.
Yeah. When I said defund, I meant fund.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I was trolling. Right. So I think that it's really important to praise people who have acted courageously, and congratulations, Edward, and hope a speedy recovery for you.
Who are the men that pick for scraps amongst the ruins at the end of history? You should know, because you encounter them every day. Between the towering buildings of a fallen empire, we find the Fellaheen, the historyless men, who know nothing of the turning of the cosmic wheel and find themselves outside of civilization itself. Cut loose from the great chain of being, they represent the loam into which our dying culture will return. That is, unless we choose to take up the burden once again. This Fellaheen condition is the subject we explore in issue 4 of Islander magazine, on sale while stocks last and available worldwide at shop.lotusseaters.com.